What's going on? Welcome to Ashrah Gaming and part 2 of 5 of my Mortal Kombat 12 must-have series. In this series, I take the top 5 characters I would love to see put into Mortal Kombat 12 and ask how they can be implemented both in lore and gameplay. And in this video, I'm going to talk about another highly requested 3D era character, Ashrah. So please hit that subscribe button, trying to get to 300 subs by the end of the month. Now let's get after it. Despite her very angelic and modest appearance, Ashrah is actually a demon from the Netherrealm and has a very similar background to Sareena. Both were assassins in the service of Quan Chi, and both were loyal members to the Brotherhood of Shadow. Where they differ is in their call to adventure. Sareena found her calling by Sub-Zero because he showed her mercy by sparing her life after she was defeated by him in combat, whereas Ashrah was forced into hiding because Quan Chi ordered an assassin to kill her after she grew tired of taking Quan Chi's orders. While in hiding, Ashrah happened to come across the Chris sword, which is actually based on a historically famous Javanese dagger of the same name. After using the sword against another demon, she felt the sensation of her soul being purified. It was then she vowed to escape the Netherrealm by killing any demon she would come in contact with, believing that once she purified her soul enough, the Netherrealm could no longer contain such a pure being and would cast her out. So Ashrah is actually very unique in that although she is on the side of good, she has no ties or alliances to any of the lead good guys. See, where Sareena seeks purpose by joining the side of good and allies herself with other cast members to defeat Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Shinnok, Ashrah's motive is to cleanse her soul to escape the Netherrealm. See, throughout her story, she never really wants to help in protecting any realm, tribe, clan, or even side with anyone. Her presence and actions are completely selfish in nature, and it gets even worse in the second half of her story. After she ascends out of hell, she appears in the realm of Viternus and is met by a group of beautiful beings called Celestials. These beings tell her that the Chris is actually a tool used to bring peace to the realms by purifying, aka slaying, the world of evil. Thus, it grants its wielder the power to become a warrior strong enough to use it and fulfill its purpose. So this is where things get a little or very ethically flexible. Ashrah literally goes on a killing spree, committing mass genocide against the vampire race, until she is confronted by the vampire Natara. Although Natara does not defeat her, she lures Ashrah out of her realm and into Edenia. And so now Ashrah's motive has gone from escaping the Netherrealm to slaying Natara, which she believes will again ascend Ashrah to become a celestial being. And also, it turns out the Chris sword is actually a cursed sword, which literally brainwashes the mind of its wielder into believing they are doing what is right when actually it was created to erase the vampire race. Which means if Ashrah is going to be in the next Mortal Kombat installment, then Natara also has to be in the next Mortal Kombat installment, which I'm going to talk about in the next video, so make sure to watch that. But this makes you question, is Ashrah actually a good guy? So how could a story like this be implemented into the world of Mortal Kombat? Honestly, I would just elaborate on it. If the story is going to take place during the Great Kung Lao era, assuming that the Liu Kang ending is the canon ending, the story is already there and the 3D era gave the writers a lot of sources to go off of. If I was to write Ashrah's story, probably be completely tell the story of her ascension out of the Netherrealm, how the blade manipulated her, and the conflict with Natara. See, where Sareena's story is very open-ended and the writers are free to create a lot of conflict, Ashrah has a very one-sided and linear story, but that story has a lot of ethical questioning. Ashrah's story actually asks the audience, who is really the good guy in this story? Because if you've ever written fiction before, when you're writing your villain, you always keep in mind the villain is doing what they believe is the right thing to do, even if it's the wrong thing, which makes them a villain. So now let's talk about gameplay mechanics. If Ashrah is doing the will of, quote, Celestials, which aren't actually a thing, it was all a mirage created by the sword, and has the appearance of a graceful woman, I would think her movements would be a reflection of that. In this case, I would have a mixture of Mortal Kombat 11's Katana and Kung Lao. Both are good in the close quarters and the mid-range and have great pokes and mix-ups. And considering Kung Lao's style is based off of Wing Chun, which historically was created by a woman, I would think that Ashrah would take a similar fighting style. However, and this probably goes without saying, her sword is her primary source of fighting, in which case her movement would take influence from traditional Chinese sword dancing. With the sword dancing style mixed with Wing Chun, Ashrah would make for a very mix-up heavy, mid-range, and very deceptive style character. See, Ashrah is one of those characters from the 3D era that I was really happy that they implemented into the Mortal Kombat universe, mainly because she doesn't really exist within the main story. She doesn't exist within the tournament. She exists completely on the back end of things that you don't really see happening like right in front of you. So it's really cool to explore other characters in the Mortal Kombat universe that don't really have much to do with the overarching story, which is why a lot of Mortal Kombat fans really want to explore the other parts of the Mortal Kombat universe and not just the Liu Kang and Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Sonya arcs, to where it's like that's right there in front of you. We want to see what happens with Ashrah, with Natara, with Serena. We want to see what happens with the things that are happening on the back end. So this, I think, would be a great time for Mortal Kombat to implement these back end characters that we don't really see very much and really bring them to light and show the complexities of their stories and how they make an impact on the universe of Mortal Kombat. So please tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe, please comment down below. I would love to hear what you guys think about Ashrah. Do you think she's a good guy? Do you think she's doing what is right? I mean, obviously she's brainwashed, but even if you are considered the good guy, are you the good guy? Let me know in the comment sections, and until next time, shred out.